Can you still change your life selling digital products in 2026? Yes, but not by making another PDF people never finish, another course people abandon halfway through, or another template that disappoints the person who bought it. AI has made digital products easier to create than ever. That's exactly why the internet is now full of products that look useful, sell once, and destroy trust the second someone opens them. So if you want a product that brings in real income for years, you have to build around the one thing most creators skip: the result your customer actually gets. Because if people buy from you and get nothing, they don't just ask for a refund. They stop trusting you, they don't recommend you, and your name gets attached to a bad outcome. In this video, I'll show you the 5 steps I used to go from $12,000 first launch to a digital program with 40 to 50 active students at a time, including the AI system I now use to give students personalized support at scale. So if you have knowledge that genuinely helps people, this is how you turn it into a product that people actually finish, trust, and recommend. So these are the exact 5 moves I used to build a digital product that gave me more income, more leverage, and the way out of the old business model. Let's start with step 1, the one most people get wrong before they even open their laptop. Now, before I tell you what step 1 actually is, I want to tell you what it's built on, because every one of the next 5 steps comes back to this idea, and if you miss it, the rest of them won't work. Here it is. The result your customer gets from your digital product is the only thing that matters. Not the design, not the marketing, not the price, the result. Think about it for a second. If your product doesn't deliver a result, 2 things happen. People stop buying it, and people who already bought it stop trusting you, which means your second product, your third product, your community, none of those have a chance. So here's the question every digital product creator has to answer before they build anything. How do I give the person who buys this the best possible chance of getting a real result? And here's the answer, which is also step 1. You don't start with what you know, you start with what they need. Most people building digital products start in the wrong place. They start with what they're good at, what they're certified in, what they enjoy teaching, and that makes sense. That's their comfort zone. But that is exactly why their product don't sell. Step 1 is find an audience with a specific, urgent, painful problem that almost nobody's giving a specific answer to. Now, let me show you what that looks like. In 2020, in the middle of COVID, I looked around for an audience that was hurting and I could help. It was music teachers. Their students stopped showing up. The word to mouth they used to fill their schedules had completely dried up. Their income was gone and nobody was teaching them how to find new students online. The demand was enormous. The specific answer didn't exist. But here's the thing, I wasn't the obvious person to teach this. I'd only learned online marketing 4 months earlier, but I understood their problem. I felt I knew enough to help them take the next step, and nobody else was speaking directly to them. So here's how you do this in practice. Pick 3 audiences you have some real connection to. Not because you're an expert in their world, but because you can talk to them without faking it. You have some kind of a relationship you have with them. Then you do one thing a lot of digital product creators skip. You talk to them. And you do that before you build anything. Here's exactly how I do this. In fact, I still do this today in 2026 before I launch anything new. If I already know people in that audience, past clients, friends of friends, anyone, I send them a personal message. I don't pitch, I ask for 30 seconds of their time for one conversation and tell them clearly, this isn't a sales call. I just want to understand your world. If it's a new audience I have no connection to, I post something like this on social media. You can write it down. Quick ask for audience, I'm working on something specially for people in your shoes, but before I build anything, I want to understand what your day actually looks like right now. I'm doing a few 30-minute conversations this week, no pitch, no sales, just questions about what's working, what's broken, and what you wish someone would finally figure out for you. In exchange, at the end of the call, I'll share 2 or 3 specific moves you can take this week to start improving your situation based on what you tell me. If that sounds useful, comment interview below or DM me. And that's it. When they show up to the call, I don't ask abstract questions. I don't ask, what's your biggest challenge? That gets you nothing. I asked them to walk me through their actual day. What does Monday morning look like for you right now? What's the worst moment of the week? What's the thing you keep avoiding? Then I asked the reverse. If we fast forward 6 months and everything is working, what does Monday morning look like to you now? The gap between those two pictures is your product. That's the pain you're solving. That's the result you're going to deliver. And now, for the first time, you actually know what you're building. And once you have it, step 2 is about how to avoid the mistake that make most people lose their chance to succeed before they even start. Once they know the exact pain, most people make the same mistake. They go quiet for 3 months and start building. They record the videos, they design the website, they set up an email funnel, and after all of that, they launch and nobody buys. Crickets. And here's the brutal truth. If you build before you sell, you're gambling. You're betting tens of hours of your life on an idea that the thing you imagine people want is actually the thing people will pay for. And very often, it isn't. Not because your idea was bad, because what people say they want in a survey and what they actually pull out their credit card for are two completely different things. So step 2 is this: you sell the outcome before you build the full product with complete transparency about what exists and what doesn't. I know how this sounds, but that's exactly what I did. Back in 2021, after those interviews with music teachers, I had a clear picture of what they needed. I wrote a 1-page document describing the program, the outcome it would deliver, the structure, the price, and then I went back to the same people I talked to, plus a few more, and told them, I'm running this in 3 weeks, 6 spots, $2,000 each. Want it? 6 people said yes. $12,000 in the bank before I had a single module recorded, a single video shot, a single slide built. And here's why this worked and why it's not as scary as it sounds. The people who pay first are the people who needs this most. They're not buying a course. They're buying a commitment from you to solve their problem. And that commitment is what gives you the energy and the clarity to actually build something that works. Because now you have real people with real names and real money on the line waiting for it. Here's how to do this in practice. After your interviews, pick the 3 or 4 people whose pain came up clearest. Now write them personally, tell them you're putting together a small group, 5 to 8 people, to walk through a solution to exactly that problem over the next 6 to 8 weeks. You could give them a price that feels almost uncomfortably real, something between $500 and $2,000, depending on the depth, of course. If you can't get 3 or 4 people to say yes, that's not a failure. That's the most valuable information you'll ever get. This just means that the pain you identified probably isn't urgent enough, or the framing isn't sharp enough, or you talk to the wrong people. Now you can go back to step 1, adjust, and try again. You haven't lost months building the wrong thing. And if 3 or 4 people do say yes, you don't have a product, you have something better. You have real customers, a real deadline, and the clearest possible reason to build only what they actually need. Now, here's where most people, even the ones who do pre-sell correctly, get stuck with. They run the first cohort and then they freeze because they don't know what to do with everything they just learned. That's step 3. Quick one, if you're getting value from this, hit subscribe. Every subscriber tells YouTube to show this to one more business owner who needs it. All right, step 3, you run your first cohort, you have 6 people, 8 people, 10 people, you're delivering live sessions, you're answering their questions, you're seeing in real time what works and what doesn't, what they keep getting stuck on. Most people at the end of that first cohort do 1 or 2 things. They burn out and quit, or they go right back to selling the same live cohort for the next group and over, trading their time for money. Just like they did before, different package, same trap. Step 3 is what you do instead. You let the live cohort become the blueprint for your evergreen product. Here's what I mean. While you're running the live group, record the teaching sessions with everyone's permission, of course. Then you transcribe those sessions and you ask AI to give you notes about the Q&As, the breakthroughs, and the misunderstandings. The places where people kept getting confused are the places where your future content needs to be sharper. Then between cohort 1 and cohort 2, you take that recording and you extract the spine of the program, the core modules, the order they have to be in, the exercise that actually changed everything for people. Now cohort 2 is the same program, slightly tighter, slightly more expensive. I went from $2,000 per person to $2,500. Cohort 3, you do the same, By the time I ran cohort 6, I was charging $5,000 per person. And by then I had 20 people per cohort. That's $100,000 every 3 months. From a program I never had to design in a vacuum because every version was forged in real time with real people, kept getting better and better with each cohort until it was good enough to record. So then, and only then, after 6 cohorts of validation, did I take everything and record it as a true evergreen program. Why cohort 6 and not before? Because the version of the program I would have built in 2021 after the first cohort would have been wrong. It would have been built around what I thought mattered, but not what actually moved the needle for them. I could only see that after a few runs of the program. Here's the principle. You don't build evergreen first and hope it sells. You build live first, charge for it, refine it through repetition, and only then turn it into something that can deliver the core transformation without you teaching every session live. This way your customers show you what the real product needs to become. By the time you press record on the final version, it's already been tested with dozens of paying customers in front of you in real time and proved itself. Which brings us to the question that breaks most people the moment their evergreen program goes live. How do you actually deliver real support, the kind that gets people resolved to 50 strangers you never met? This is step 4, and this is where 2026 stops looking like 2022. Here's the moment most digital products quietly fail. The launch goes well, Monday comes in, and then the customer disappears into the platform. They log in, they watch a few videos, they get stuck somewhere in module 3 and never come back. No emails, no complaints, just silence. And 6 months later, when you look at your completion rates, you realize the truth. You didn't sell them a transformation, you sold them a Netflix account they forgot about. This is a wall every evergreen program hits. The content is there, the structure is there, but the support, the thing that actually creates the results, disappears the moment you stop running live cohorts. Now in 2022, it was an unsolvable problem unless you hired a full team of coaches. In 2026, it isn't. Step 4 is this. You build an AI layer on top of your program that delivers personalized supports to every single student without you personally answering every question one by one. I'm going to show you exactly how I do this because this is the move that almost nobody outside of high-end programs is doing yet. This is the reason I can run 40 to 50 active students at any given moment without burning out. The tool matters less than the structure. I personally use a platform called UpCoach, but you can do this in any platform that lets you combine lessons, student inputs, progress tracking, and AI assistant feedback. What matters is the approach. Here's how this works. I feed the AI my entire methodology, then I design what they call check-ins. They're structured weekly exercises tied to each of the modules of my program. When the students open their check-in, the AI doesn't show them a generic worksheet. It asks them targeted questions about their situation, their business, their sticking point. Based on what they answer, it tailors the next prompt. It's a personalized coaching session built around everything I would have said. I can also see exactly where each person is in the program, who's progressing, who's stuck, and specifically where they're stuck. Module 3, lesson 2, question 4, that kind of resolution. And then, with clear consent and the right privacy setting in place, the AI gives me a synthesized read across all students. I can ask it, what's the most common obstacle people are reporting this month in module 4? It reads every response from every student, finds the pattern, and tells me, which means I can record one new lesson that solves the bottleneck for 50 people simultaneously based on the data, not guesses. Here's what to do this week if you're not at this stage yet. Take one module of whatever you teach and build one structured check-in around it. You can even use ChatGPT to do this. Write 5 to 7 questions that take the students from where they are to where they need to be next. Now, test it on one person. That's it. One module, one ritual, one person. You'll feel the difference immediately, and you'll see why this is the single biggest unfair advantage available to digital product creators right now. Once you've solved support, there's one more move left. I made this move in 2024, and 2 years later has quietly become the most important part of my entire business. Before I get to step 5, if you're watching this and you're thinking, I can see the path, but I don't know where to start in my own business, I run a small number of free 30-minute business breakthrough sessions each week. I'll look at the audience, your offer, the bottleneck holding you back, then give you the 2 or 3 moves I'd make next. It's not going to be a hard pitch. If I think it can help, I'll tell you, but either way, you leave with a clear next step. You got the link in the description, feel free to use it. Now, step 5. Most digital product creators obsess over the first sale, but they ignore what happens after someone gets the result. When somebody finishes a program, what happens next? In 99% of the cases, they leave. Got the results or they didn't, and either way, the relationship ends. You go back to selling to the next strangers, they go back to figuring things out alone. And the result they worked so hard to achieve, it quietly fades. In 2024, I tested something. I went to every graduate of my program and offered them a paid retainer premium community. Monthly fee, it wasn't cheap, but it was priced low enough to make long-term support feel like the obvious next step for them. In exchange, they get ongoing mentor support, weekly working sessions, technical help when something breaks, and most importantly, a peer group of people exactly like them moving together on the same direction. I figured a handful will join. I was wrong. The vast majority joined. And here's the part that still surprises me. More than 2.5 years later, almost nobody has left. That's because I discovered something I didn't expect. People who want real result from you don't want more content. They want to protect the result they already got. They don't need another course. They need a structure that keeps them from sliding back into old habits. A place where when something in their business breaks, they have someone to ask. A community of peers who understand what they're building so they don't have to explain themselves from scratch every time. That's what they pay for. And if the community keeps helping them protect that result, they have a real reason to stay. This is step 5. Build a community for graduates only and price it for the long term, not the one-time sell. Here's the math that most people miss. Let's say you have 100 graduates over 2 years. Even if 40% join the community at $200 per month, that's $8,000 in monthly recurring revenue. Stable, predictable, and most importantly, it doesn't depend on your next launch performing. So it reduces a lot of pressure from you. And here's another strange part. In a normal program, the longer somebody is a customer, the more they cost you in support. In a graduate community, the opposite happens. The longer they're in, the more they support each other. New members get answers from veteran members. You're still leading it, but you're no longer the only person creating value. Here's how to start. You don't need 100 graduates, you need 10. 10 people who finished your program and got a result. Now go to them and say, I want to keep supporting your progress. I'm starting a small group, monthly fee, weekly sessions, ongoing access to me and to each other. Are you in? If 10 say yes, you have a community. From there, every new graduate gets the same invitation. And over time, what you build is something almost nobody else in this space has. Recurring revenue from the people who already know you deliver. That's it. That's the full system. 5 steps, from finding the right pain to launching with paying customers to building an evergreen product the live cohort wrote for you, to delivering personalized support with AI, to a graduate community that compounds. So to recap everything we talked about, the right product doesn't just give someone information, it gives them a path they couldn't see before. So if you got knowledge that could help people and you actually want them to win, that's what these 5 steps are for. Not to make you a quick dollar, to build something that holds up for you and for them for years. If this video gave you clarity, drop a comment with the step you're starting with this week. I read everyone and I react to everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.